In this podcast episode, Bill Gurley interviews Tim Ferriss, a highly successful digital creator known for his podcast, best-selling books, and millions of followers on social media. The interview delves into Tim's journey, starting from his graduation from Princeton in 2000 with an East Asian Studies major. Tim then launched his podcast in 2014, following various experiences such as working in data storage and starting a sports nutrition company. He also became a guest lecturer at Princeton, which later became the foundation for his book The 4-Hour Workweek. In 2009, Tim sold his startup and began angel investing, making notable investments in companies like Uber and Shopify. However, he has recently shifted his focus to other creative pursuits such as writing fiction and exploring AI. Throughout his journey, Tim emphasizes the importance of intentional decision-making, building relationships, and constantly learning and evolving. He believes in testing and experimenting rather than following dogmatic rules. Tim studied other successful podcasters like Dan Carlin in his show, Hardcore History, to learn from their approaches. He also hired a senior researcher to improve his interviewing skills, recognizing the value of listening to himself talk and learning from the experience. Tim attributes his success as a podcaster to choosing a format he could persist with and keeping it broad to explore his interests. He prioritizes direct communication with his audience through email and podcasting, as he believes it's crucial to have control over his own platform. Tim keeps his team small and focuses on well-defined processes to stay lean. While he doesn't read 1,000 books a year, he does thorough prep work for each interview, researching the guest and asking them what would make the interview a success for them. Tim admires podcasters like Guy Raz, Joe Rogan, Lex Fridman, and Patrick O'Shaughnessy for their unique approaches and strategic decisions. He also discusses the involvement of Spotify in podcasting, acknowledging their smart acquisitions of talent and the importance of podcasts for their platform. He compares it to Amazon's dominance in audiobooks with Audible and believes that once Spotify becomes a significant percentage of podcasters' downloads, they can back off and still gain attention from podcasters. Tim also touches on the power of platforms like Twitter and LinkedIn for connecting with podcast guests and expanding one's reach. He advises having a focal point, such as an email newsletter or improving one's podcast, to maximize impact. He mentions the significance of impactful purchases like nail clippers and mittens, highlighting the value of small but meaningful investments. During the interview, Tim reflects on his favorite failure, which was struggling with math competitions that became increasingly challenging. However, this failure ultimately led him to the burnout he experienced after the release of his book, The 4-Hour Chef, which in turn led him to discover the power of podcasts. He also shares his transition from studying neuroscience to East Asian Studies, explaining how it helped him with language acquisition and interviewing skills for his podcast. Tim concludes by advising listeners not to believe everything they think and shares his best investment, which was Uber. He emphasizes the power of waiting and how it can help solve many problems. Tim also discusses his study of nonviolent communication and navigating conflict, highlighting the importance of giving oneself permission to wait during difficult conversations. Overall, the interview provides valuable insights into Tim Ferriss's journey, his approach to podcasting, and his perspectives on various topics such as platform dominance, intentional decision-making, and personal growth.